This is Gemara Baba Basra Daf Samoch Ates, and we're holding in the very bottom of Samoch Ches Amid Beis as we begin a Mishnah, continuing the theme of selling items and that which is included in the sale. And now we move on to selling a field. Says the Mishnah, Hamoicher Es Hasadeh, someone who sells a field, Mocher Es Havanim, together with the sale of a field, is the stone she'im litzarka, which are there for the usage of the field. V'sakonim shebekerem, and the reeds in the vineyard she'im litzarkai, which are the usage of the vineyard. V'satvu, and the grain she'mechuberes lekarka, which is attached to the ground. Ve'ez chitzas hakonim, and furthermore, says the Mishnah, the reeds that do what? Shipachusa mi beis raiva, which is less than a beis raiva, a quarter cup. Ve'es hashaymira, and the watchman's hut, in the lashon of shaymer, she'eno asuya b'tit, which is not made with tit. Ve'es hacharuv, and the karev, she'eno murkav, which is not grafted. Ve'es psulas hashikma, on the sycamore tree, avaloi, those are all yes included. What is not included, says the Mishnah, which are not for the usage of the field, nor the reeds in the vineyard, not the grain, which is detached. But that's case number two. So number one, whatever is litzarkai is yes included. Whatever is not litzarkai is not included. Number two, then they are all sold. Benkach says the Mishnah, concludes the Mishnah, whether one says kol or not, it is not included the reeds which are a quarter kav large. Not a watchman's hut which is made with clay, a grafted sycamore, or the sycamore that has been cut back. So those items are never going to be included in the field. As we turn over to Samach Tasim Beis, the Gemara discusses the first case of the Mishnah, which is that we said that the avanim, that the stones that are there for the usage of the field, are part of the sale. Says the Gemara, what exactly does that mean? Ma'avanim shehin litzarka, hachatargima avnei de'echba, stones for weighing down the grain. Ula amar, avanim asturais ligader, these are the stones that are arranged as a fence. Ask the Gemara one second about that. Rav Chia avanim seburais ligader. Rav Chia taught that stones that are piled up to use at our fence are yes sold with a field. So we see, regardless of how they are piled up, not only if they're sidurais, if they're arranged nicely, even if they're siburais, even if they're heaped up. So Tani sturais change the lashon to sidurais. What says the Gemara, it's like another lashon. Stones wait for the weighing down of the grain. According to Rameir, means they're prepared for usage. Even though they're not yet placed in the field. The Rabbanan has to be the machsan, has to be placed in the field. The Rabbanan, who the Sidron, that would be the extension, according to Rebbe Meir. Continues the Gemara, according to the next case of Mishnah, Kinim. We said the reeds are yes sold with the field. Says the Gemara, Kinim, Maya Vidatayu. What are these Kinim's purpose in the Karim, in the vineyard? These are smoothed out reeds which are under the grapevines that hold up the grapes off the ground. Says the Rameir, but according to Rameir, that they're planed out, even though they're not yet standing. But the Rabbanan, no, they have to actually be standing. Who? The Mukman, they have to actually be standing. We continue. Said the Mishnah, the tvua which is connected to the ground is yes sold with the field. Explains the Gemara, the Chiddush is, Avagavdim v'toy lichi l'mechatzad, even though it's ready to be cut. So one would think that maybe we know the klal is, whatever's ready to be cut, it's considered detached. The Mishnah's Chiddush is, since the Lamaisa is attached to the ground, therefore, it's considered part of the ground. And the reeds which are less than a quarter of kav, said the Gemara, Avagav Dalimi, even though they're strong. The watchman's even though it's not attached to the ground, it's not sold. It's yes sold, excuse me. Says Avagav Dalimi, it's strong. Which is not for the usage of the field. Says the Gemara, what does this come to teach us? The Rameir, excuse me, according to Rameir, this means that now you're prepared for usage on the third wide line. The Rabbanan, which they are not yet placed in the field. The Rabbanan, we continue 4 lines into the wide lines, quoting the next part of the Mishnah, which shows that which is not for the vineyard's usage is not sold, says the Gemara. What's the Chiddush? Says the Gemara, even though it's detached, but it still needs the field, still has to stay there to air out. Still, it's considered detached and it's not sold with the field. Says the Gemara, even if it is, the reeds are very thin. Not only even if we have a small row, less than a quarter kav, a small row of fragrant herbs, will not be sold at the field. It has to be, says Rapapa, that it's called the roses, the verada of a certain person. Mamish has to have a total independent entity onto itself. Continue quoting the Mishnah of Lo Shamir Asui, but it is not sold. The Chiddush, you know, it's attached to the ground, it's not sold. So, boy, Rav Elazar. Now that we have the Mishnah basically explained, that's Rav Elazar, Milavno Shab Sachim. Said Rav Elazar, is the doorstop sold with the field? Says the Gemara. If it's attached with clay, there's no shayla the mechaber. L'maisa it's attached. Kiti shayla is then a kiti v'sichi. Shayla is when they're created with movable bags. What's the halacha? Is that included in the field? And says the Gemara, we're gonna have to wait for Eliyahu Hanavi for that one. Why Rav Zera, a similar shayla. Milam nois. Asks Rav Zera, the doorstop shall chaloi nois. The doorstops of windows, which are areas that held open the windows, they're made for beauty. Therefore, they're not functional parts of the house. It's attached. Teku, again, we have to wait for Eliyahu Hanavi. And a third shayla by Rav Yirmiyah shall kari. Says Rav Yirmiyah, what is the status of blocks that are put underneath the legs of the bleds? If it's moved with the bed, it's not a shayla d'metaltla. Why? Because it's moved with it, so it's certainly part of the bed. Says the Gemara, for the third time, we have to wait for Eliyahu Hanavi. And we go into the end of the Mishnah that says the charav los charav amur kav lo sadan hashikma is not sold with the field. Says the Gemara that these are not sold with the field. And this is even if the one selling it has said, Kol ma shebetaycha, even if he said everything is included in sale, these items are not included. Says the Gemara, where do we know this from? As you turn off to Samach Tasam Beis. Amar Rav Yudah Merav, Amar Kra, says the Pasuk, V'yakum Sedei Ephron Asher b'machpelah. Ephron's field, which was b'machpelah, and there were fields and the trees. Says the Gemara, Mi shetzarich ligvol saviv. For this we learn out, the tree that needs the boundary to be identified is yes sold with the field. Yatu elu, that's excluded. She'inishich ligvol saviv. It has an entity even without the gvul, and then will not be included. From here we see the concept of boundaries of Meitzarim on a deraisa level from the sale of the Sedeh Machpelah, Marsa Machpelah, that Ephraim sold. We continue the two dots. I'm Rav Yehuda. Hi man, the mizan ar lechavre. Says Rav Yehuda, someone who sells a field to his friends, he has to write for him, Kini lecha. It's acquired to you, diklin, utalayin, v'hutzin, v'tzitzin. The palms, the saplings, the hutzin, and the tzitzin. Avagav dechilo kasav le'achi kani. Even if he didn't write it, there's a kin. If you lachi shofra dishtaru, says the Gemara, this is the correct way. The shofra, the beauty, the enhancement of the shtar, is to write these items into the sale. So Amrle Aravidikli, says the Gemara, if the seller said, I'm selling you a land and the palm trees, chazina, we see. If there are palm trees aside from the land, then he gives two of those. Less than if they're not. That means that what he means to include is two palm trees. And if there is a lien on these trees, then he has to redeem two of the fields, two of the palm trees, and give it to the buyer. Arabidikli. Now, what if he said, I'm selling you a land with palm trees? Chazinan. If there are palm trees on the field, Yavle gives them. Vilav because he said it, it's not part of the field. And number three, Arabidikla. Lastly, Arabidikla, if he said, I'm selling you a land that is a place, it's a beidikla, it's a place to put in dekel trees, the palm trees. Lastly, dikla, then he doesn't have any right to the palm trees. He's going to set a land that could house them. The chazio ledikla kamer, he doesn't mean that it's chazi, that it's fit for the dekel. Doesn't mean there's actually dekel trees in it. We'll pick it up from here as we continue discussing the sale of palm trees with siyata dishmaya.